One of the things I did want to ask you, and we can be rather quick on this one. It's up to you. Qatar, famous for funding universities here in the United States. They're actually the biggest foreign donator, I should say, of universities in the United States. They don't do it for the goodness of their hearts, right? And just like that, they also donated a rather expensive present to the president of the United States. A 400 million, you heard that right, $400 million luxury jetliner that will replace Air Force One, the current Air Force One. Um, Darren, let's go to the obvious follow up question here. Should he accept it? Because he says he has, and he said he's not changing his mind. Should he accept it? What are the implications of accepting a gift? Period. And then what about accepting a gift from Qatar of all places? So just
Uh,
whatever your take is on all of that, let's hash it out.
okay. This one, I mean, okay. I know like what I'm supposed to say is like, absolutely not. That's just such an obvious conflict of interest. How could he do that? That's probably what I should be saying. And maybe if we lived in a world where, Trump wasn't around, and it was just maybe some other standard Republican, maybe I'd be saying that. I don't know. I feel like with Trump though, I mean, I don't know. It's almost like it's not even the worst thing he's done. So whatever. It's kind of like, I don't know, like, should he do it? Probably not, but it's almost like just throwing your hands up and being like, well, okay, it's Trump. So I don't know. I can't really articulate. Like, obviously, it's bad. It's not a good look, but I also
That is
just
putting
don't.
it lightly. That is putting it so light. But go ahead. Sorry.
But I mean, a part of me, like, I think it's maybe because I like Qatar so much. If it was like the Israelis, if it were the Israelis, giving him a giant jumbo jet, whatever, airplane for Air Force One, maybe then I'd have a little more problem with it. But I think the Qataris, I, I, I find them reasonable. They kind of like play both sides where they try to keep things calm with Iran. They try to keep things chill with us. We have an air base over there. We have good relations with them, even though many people in the U.S. like to, somehow, call them like Hamas supporters or what. I don't know. Uh,
Well, can you imagine why they do that, Darren? I mean, listen. Don't get me wrong. Like they get a worse rap more often than not than what people think that they are Hamas and Hezbollah. That's not what they are. When you look up like what Qatar does and like how they view themselves as essentially diplomats between Sunnis and Shias, right? Like you said, they play both sides of the fence here.
oh yeah.
But the problem with that is they are willing to host and diplomat or with pretty much anybody. I mean, Hezbollah, Iran. uh, I don't know if they've had the Taliban over as well or the Houthis. Like, but I mean, none of that would be incredibly shocking to me.
Well,
You
I'm
know,
okay with that though. I think uh, you know, as much if we could just with a snap of the finger, or just wipe people off the face of the earth that we don't like, maybe. And if it were like really easy and it came at a low cost, then maybe I'd be more opposed to having this state that is open to hosting these actors. But I think diplomacy is basically a good way to handle these things. So if they want to, I think Hamas does have like a small office over there, like the the outside arm, the more diplomatic arm of Hamas. I mean, we have to talk to somebody, So if Qatar wants to host these people, I'm totally for it.
Well, listen, and I'm not condemning them for that. I apologize for the confusion. I was not saying that these people house well, they do house terrorists. I don't want to be unclear, but I'm not. I'm neutral on whether or not that's a good or a bad thing. Because I don't know what problem they've solved over there, but at least they're willing to have the conversations between the Muslim Brotherhood leaders, right? Um,
Oh yeah, oh
but
yeah.
but my issue with this bribe is number one, no such charity would be given. Yeah, and you're hearing me say that a lot because that's kind of how I'm starting to evaluate things, and I mean that even from the right. So, for example, Ben Shapiro, he issued probably I don't know an 8 minute long monologue about what he thought, and he was against it. I want to be very clear. He was very much against Trump taking this gift for obvious reasons for Ben Shapiro. To me, it's totally undermined by the fact that if Obama would have taken a $400 million jet bribe from Qatar, Ben Shapiro would have came unfucking glued. Like he'd have wrote a book about it. He'd have had Douglas Murray on to talk about, well, I've been there. And it just would have been completely absurd. And what would have happened if Biden would have taken a $400 million bribe from China? What would they have been saying?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Like, and how would you feel if it was a $400 million jet from Israel? You'd be calling him President BB. Like there's no, I'm not doing it. We have
it,
to oppose it for that such reason, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I know that, that's probably what I'm supposed to say, that like yes, to be principled, he should not accept it, but I don't know.
It's
I
the
I
least
think
of his sins. I agree. I do agree. This is not nearly the corruption scheme that even his crypto coin is.
oh
So,
yeah, yeah, his crypto is far worse
but still,
in some ways.
I more than anything am just uh, laughing and enjoying the absurdity of the fact that a president just took a $400 million gift from a foreign government. Honestly, depending on who you ask, is not even a strong ally. Like it's not, maybe not even an ally at all. And his whole response was basically like it was a golf analogy, right? He's like, well, whenever they give you a putt, you got to take the putt. You know what I mean? And it's like, what the hell? What the hell is this guy talking? It's such a Trump state. Like you said, you just got to shrug your shoulder. It's Trump. But
Yeah, I think honestly, I think you are right. If it was like someone I disliked, like China, Israel, I'd just be obviously more strongly against it. The problem is, I just like Qatar. Like I think that they're certainly not an enemy. I think they're definitely more of an asset to us. So I, I to and I think I'm also thinking like from a practical point of view. I think the Qatari leadership wants to get things wrapped up and Gaza. They definitely want regional stability. They don't want to foment anything bad like that. To that extent, I'm just more in favor of like if a bribe will get Trump to do a good thing, then let him take a bribe. you know, I mean, as terrible as that is, it's just how the man is. If he can be bribed into doing a humanitarian thing, I'm all for it.
you know, very pragmatic approach, man. And I'm not, no value judgment on it. I mean, heck, you should read some of our so like Abe Lincoln, for example, everyone likes to put him on a pedestal and act like he's holier than thou. Well, he basically had to bribe and, to get the votes to ratify the abolition of slavery, right? And all the, Reconstruction amendments. I mean, he open corruption, and I mean blatant. It's kind of actually what opened the door to the Gilded Age. People don't like to admit that, but that I mean that's true. So like, I'm not saying that it's not practical what you're saying. I'm just saying that like as an observer, I feel like I have to oppose it, but I do got to concede to you that like there could be positive outcomes at the end of this. So
Yeah, and again, I totally see both sides. Like I guess that's the Kantian would say, we must just categorically be opposed to all, corruption or which this obviously is. But what is it that is this an Obama quote? Because I've heard this like a million times. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Is that an Obama quote? Or is that something
I
much
don't know. But that sounds like something Obama would
yeah.
say.
I don't know if that like far precedes Obama because but I feel like I've heard him say it. So for some reason, I'm like attributing it to Obama. But I, yeah, I think if it can make good outcomes, I'm basically for it.
Voltaire, according to Google.
Oh,
So
Voltaire. Okay, okay.